Why am I going to get an investment story around momentum, and why are we going to get a crash?
Yeah, so momentum has been really one of the big trades. I mean, not just quants are doing it. Everybody is doing this. This is essentially betting that stocks that did the best over the past 12 months are going to continue to do well. So you buy essentially the best performing stocks. Now, this has worked everywhere. It's worked in the U.S., it's worked in EM, it's worked in Asia, it's worked in Europe over the past bull market. But what we tend to see now with momentum continuing to do well is that risks really aren't priced into these stocks, which we very clearly saw with what happened with tech, what happened with Facebook. Now, when we think about what happens when risks aren't priced in, we get these really expensive stocks that can sell off very easily. So this has had strategists calling that momentum is going to crash. The market leaders are going to fall. There's going to be a rotation. I brought this chart with me that UBS points out that momentum tends to fall, tends to underperform after we have a VIX shock. Now, it doesn't always work. I will note that, but there have been some notable downfalls in momentum, which is the bottom blue line there after there are tops in the VIX. So if you look out all the way to the right, we did get that spike in the VIX. Momentum is still climbing higher, but if history plays out again, we can expect momentum to underperform yet again.
I would ask, who cares? Why? How much money is actually tied up in quant momentum strategies if this chart were not next to me? So, I mean, I can see, Dani, how big it is with 1916 in the BTV library.
Yeah, and I would point out, well, first of all, of course, I care, Matt, and that should be important to you. But a lot of investors have bought. So this is actually just 2 ETFs. This is a tiny fraction of the overall momentum universe. It is so easy to buy momentum now. Listen, you can get price data anywhere. That's all this strategy requires. Or you can just go out and buy an ETF. It's so popular that once fundamental investors, when you think about momentum, it's sort of antithetical to how they invest. You wouldn't want to buy things that have already gone up. That's buying when it's expensive. But this has worked so well that people have really put their money in here. It's worked so well, even strategies like risk parity. There are actually a lot of risk parity managers who've put on a momentum tilt so it can work well. So I don't think it's a stretch to say that hundreds of billions, even maybe nearing trillions of dollars, are invested in momentum. Now, when you think about a momentum crash, that means it could bring down the entire market with it because there is so much money in these strategies right now.